Hello, Midnight. Girl, I have got myself into a mess and a half. Oh, I didn't even realize I did that. A second. I have been putting this off for a while, and now I almost wish I'd have put it off for longer. So at the last minute, I was asked to do a while back a wedding for my niece, the one that I raised. And I've got it's a whole lot of mess, is what it is. See the noise in that picture? Well, come on. Ah. Well, I'm back. Have you ever had one of them days where it didn't matter what you tried to do? It's like butting your head against the wall. Where's the door back here, sir? Yeah. Mm. I'll tell you what happened. The whole thing froze up. I've got 720 pictures to edit, and old girl can't get it to work. I tell you what, this is what I get. I asked for it, okay? Because I didn't go to church this morning. I don't know what to do. It's a whole bunch of mess is what it is. I need to get them done, and I can't even get it to work. It just keeps freezing on me. But long story short, at the last minute, I was asked to do a wedding. I'd like to say this was recent. It wasn't. I don't even know what that little dot is right there. But anyways, what's making that shine on my face? But so today I thought I'll get those pictures edited. No. Oh no, it won't take you too long, flies to catch up. You want me to tell you why? Because it froze. Everything I've went at today has just stopped. I mean, I give it up. Those pictures might just have to get edited another day. But when I got in and I was looking at it, looking at the pictures, I have got a ton of noise to get rid of. I don't like it. I can't stand when I have to get rid of noise out of a picture. So, I guess I'm back to this. Tell me I'm not the only one that's had days like this. Because everything I've touched today is broke. Talk about getting frustrated. Frustrated all day long. The devil ain't did nothing but be right here on my shoulder. Just, ooh. I'm going to need y'all to pray for me. I'm telling you. I missed one Sunday of church and everything starts falling apart. Hello, Kim. Hello, Midnight Rain. Hello, Flies. Hello, Squall. Am I the only one having this day? Fly says they're more frequent than not anymore. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. It might be this rainy weather we've had all week. But everything I've went at, even this, had to redo it earlier. You want me to tell you why I had to redo it? I'll tell you why. Because I got up to go into the kitchen because, I was cooking supper earlier. And it was wrapped around my foot. And I didn't notice I was in the living room. So what did it do? It unraveled a whole 2 rolls of my blanket. I guess I just needed my friends, my phone. You all, can I be completely transparent with y'all right now? Is that all right? Oh, I'm not going to push it on you. Somebody's going to have to say, yeah, that's all right. I moved the table yesterday. I ran into it 3 times today. Got a huge. That's me. That is me. Everything I have went at. I'm going to tell y'all. Well, I did say I wouldn't just force things into y'all's earbuds that you don't necessarily want to hear. But do you care if I vent for a second or complain about my own self? Sometimes some of you may leave here with a whole new opinion of me. I don't know. But sometimes I get so wore out, so tired, and need a break. And when I say this, I mean 95% of my life revolves around taking care of kids. It's either going to a doctor's appointment, one's sick. I mean, y'all moms know what I'm talking about. I don't know why I got them on. It's not like I can say much with them. But, and then here I am. I get a break because I've got awesome in-laws, okay? I get a break. And then I don't know what to do with myself. And I grabbed so many things that I want to get done, and I don't get none of it done. None of it. So now I've got a little aggravated with myself because in between the pictures, the blanket, over salt and supper, I can go on. I feel like screaming sometimes. And on top of that, my hubby was supposed to be in here yesterday. Well, the place he has a load for, now he's babysitting a load because they haven't got it in their system. So it's going to be tomorrow. Don't you just love the great state of Tennessee? But it's going to be tomorrow before he can get here. And I ain't seen him in 904 weeks. And I won't even lie to you. I started having DTs when I've been that long away from him. It's taken me 7 hours to wash my bedding. I'm moving slow. I'm telling you, today has been one of them days for me. It's like I've had to rebuke the devil all day long. Probably need to get my Bible out. That's probably what I need to do if I want things to start acting right around here, which I studied this morning, but even that ran into a roadblock. And sometimes you feel that if you don't do it, it ain't going to get done. And that's not necessarily even true with me because my kids are good about jumping in and helping. I have a major downfall. I have to control everything. I want to know how everything is to go down. I don't like surprises. I like to be in control. And today it's just not felt like I have been at all. Which I know God's in control. I put it in his hands. But you know he got aggravated too. He got fed up too. If he didn't, I guess there'd still be a Sodom and Gomorrah. Is me and Fly's the only one on the struggle bus today? And Kim. And earlier today, live. I did it a different way too. I went live on this stupid computer. Couldn't tell you nothing. I was as lost as a ball in the high weeds. Give me just a second, you all. I'm about to the end of this road. if I don't step on it and take it through the house with me. Fly says she feels me. I'm telling you, girl, well, now I guess my yarn's going to get all tight. Oh, I get it, Lord. I get it. Oh. I'm sitting with the heating pad on my back. It's been frustrating. It's a couple of days. I'm telling you all, look at this. Look at this. You see this right here? I ain't been baked to death, I guarantee you. I'm just going to let you know. Nobody's beat me to death. Through this little break that I'm supposed to be getting, I ain't been able to sleep. And flies can vouch for that. My girl can vouch for that. She killed my company like that. I need it, Squawk. I need more sleep. And it ain't even because something's keeping me awake. I think my body is so programmed to just having like 2 or 3 hours a night of sleep that when it has a full 8 hours it can sleep, it's like, you ain't doing this, girl. Why? Because I'm going to put everything in your head. Go ahead and power off, monitor. You're freezing on me anyway. I ain't even kidding. I opened up Lightroom on Photoshop earlier, and do you know what it said to me? Come back later. We're experiencing an error. Come back later. Alrighty then. I went to bed early last night. Wake up at 38. Let me tell you something. You would think somebody, Flies, what time did I get in bed last night? Was it like 3? Something like that. You would think. Pray asking God to stop all the thoughts. So yeah, and I should have done that last night, but I was enjoying good company. Yep, me and you both. Let me tell you, after going to bed that late, do you know my ratchety hind end was up at 7:30? Couldn't sleep no longer. Might as well put the coffee on. Oh, Lord. Here I am complaining. You was up at 6. Say about 7:30. About 7:30 I was up. I'd like to say I got up and I accomplished so much today, but I haven't accomplished nothing. This is one of them days, good Lord's telling me, just stop. Just stop, Crystal. You're doing way too much. You need to just stop. And then, when the baby's in here, my daughter's gone fishing. My other one's in there asleep. And she's got her baby asleep. If I'm being completely transparent, I just get lonely. It has been the draggiest day. I'm not complaining, Lord. I thank you for this day. But I have big plans of getting stuff done, and it ain't happening. It ain't happening. I guess well, that makes sense. Good Lord gives me a break. Maybe He's wanting me to take it. If you see me looking over here, it's because I'm using my phone. I figured out I don't look fuzzy if I use my phone as my camera. Then I have to look at the computer to see the comments. In one moment. Overlook my projects on my bed. They ain't done. They ain't even close to done. Okay, and here I am, I'm back. Are you all in the mood for a song? I'm going to have to get a different spirit about me. I'm going to have to get in one of them good spirits, because now I'm telling you, this spirit of frustration, it's got to go. There is no room for it up in here. Yeah, severe storms coming our way from Warsaw, from Indiana. That don't surprise me. Don't surprise me a bit. Everybody that watches my channel is going to say, well, Crystal just went and flipped. I'm just human. Just human. I get frustrated. I get aggravated. I don't take advantage of the breaks that I do get. And all of that's my fault. Flies, you know where I live, honey. It's probably going to hit me from both directions. No. I rebuke that in the name of the Lord. We ain't going to get flooded again. Let me go in here, because I'm here to tell you. Satan's trying his best to fight me today. I'm going to have to rebuke him. Now, I can't see comments while I'm in here, but I'll check them when I get back in there. I've got to sing something uplifting. Whatever that blue dot is, it bound to be from my phone, because okay. And not that one. Guess I'll do my testimony song. I wish I had a better way of putting this up here. I guess I could move that. Look, I ain't using it. As long as I don't get too happy, y'all shouldn't fall on your face. Can't guarantee it. It has happened before. You ask me how it is that I'm still standing. You wonder how I made it through the storm. Well, special power. There's no secret, I just held on. And I held on till the storm was over. I don't claim to be a hero, and I don't have all the answers, but I held on till the storm was over. Not because I'm good, not because I'm great, not because I'm strong. I just held on. Well, I can finally tell that things are happening, and I have blessings I can call my own. So many times I wondered if I'd make it. Through my wandering, I still held on. And I held on till the storm was over. I don't claim to be a hero, and I don't have all the answers, but I held on till the storm was over. Not because I'm good, not because I'm great, not because I'm strong. I just held on. When I look around and see the good things He does for me, I know I'm unworthy of Him all. For His blessings He freely gives out. My life to Him, I got so much to thank Him for. And I've got so much to thank Him for, so much to praise Him for. You see, He's been so good to me. And when I think of what He's done and where He brought me from, I got so much to thank Him for. Okay, I got all the way in there. And I realized something. Did I have any sound? I didn't know if I had it hooked to this or to that again. I did the same thing this morning. Let me know if I had any sound. But don't look like y'all said anything while I was in there. Not a thing. Okay. Could you hear me in there, Squall? Or did I just leave you in the empty bedroom with no sound? Must be a delay or something. Put a warning in chat. Hear me when I was in the kitchen. So you could hear me when I was at the piano. I don't when somebody says, Crystal, couldn't hear a word you said. Couldn't hear a word you said, girl. Okay. I know I'm not the only one that gets on the struggle bus. I know I'm not. And today it's been a struggle. Big struggle. See? Give me a minute. Give me just a second. Thank you. Thank you. I know it seems so small. But when you take somebody like me that likes to control, I mean, and when I say control, I don't mean control people, but I like everything being orderly. And it just feels like it's not so orderly right now. Let's see here. You know, I'll tell you where I just flipped in the Bible, and it's in Samuel. You know, David was told that he was, well, Samuel pretty much prophesied that David would be king. And there comes this, this war pretty much. And David is taking care of the sheep, the shepherd boys. He's taking care of his father's flock. And then he gets this opportunity. His father tells him, to go take bread to his brothers. And Goliath had been coming out every day, challenging them. And every day, for 40 days, every morning and evening, he would come out. And just a second, let me find it. I'll read it to y'all. Okay. Let me start back here and put this down here on my way. Okay. See, David had his job other than taking care of his father's flock. He had a job. It said, if you read in 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 14, it says that, but the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. And Saul's servants said unto him, behold, now an evil spirit from God troubleth thee. Let our Lord, and it's lowercase, now command the servants which are before thee to seek out a man who is a cunning player on the harp, and it shall come to pass when the evil spirit from God is upon thee, that he shall play with his hands, and thou shalt be well. And Saul said unto the servants, provide me now a man that can play well, and bring him to me. Then answered one of the servants and said, behold, I have seen a son of Jesse, and Jesse of Bethlehem, and a man of war and prudent in manners, and a comely person. The Lord is with him. Wherefore Saul sent messengers into into Jesse, and said, send me David, thy son, which is with the sheep. And Jesse took an ass laden with bread and a bottle of wine and a kid, and sent them by David his son unto Saul. And David came to Saul and stood before him, and he loved him greatly, and he became his armor bearer. I didn't want to tangle that up in my words. And Saul sent to Jesse, saying, let David, I pray thee, stand before me, for he hath found favor in my sight. And it came to pass, when the evil spirit from David was upon Saul, that David took an harp and played with his hands. So Saul was refreshed and was well, and the evil spirit departed from him. So David had a job to do. When Saul would get in this little ruckus, I guess like Crystal is, David would play that harp, and it's like that evil spirit would just leave him. Now the Philistines, this is chapter 17, Now the Philistines gathered together their armies to battle and were gathered together at Sholoth. I can't pronounce it good. You know how I am with these places in the Bible, which belongeth to Judah, and pitched between Sokah and Azrith. Anyways, and we're going to come on down here where he starts challenging them because it's just giving a whole bunch of locations. And Saul and the men of Israel were gathered together and pitched by the valley of Elah and set the battle in array against the Philistines. And the Philistines stood on a mountain on the one side, and Israel stood on a mountain on the other side, and there was a valley between them. So one's on one mountain, one's on the other, and they've got a valley down here below them. And there went out a champion. What does it take to be a champion, you all? You've had to win before. And there went out a champion out of the camp of the Philistines, named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and his span. Now, that was about 9 foot tall. And he had a helmet of brass upon his head, and he was armed with a coat of mail, and the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels of brass. And he had, let's see if it tells me how much that is. No. And he had greaves of brass upon his legs, and the target of the brass between his shoulders. And the staff of his spear was like a weaver's beam, and his spear's head weighed 600 shekels of iron, and one bearing shield went before him. So in other words, somebody actually packed a shield before him. And he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel, and said unto them, Why are ye come out to set your battle in array? Am not I a Philistine, and ye servants to Saul? Choose you a man for you, and let him come down to me. So he's putting a challenge out there. If he be able to fight with me and to kill me, then will he your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall ye be our servant and serve us. And the Philistines said, I defy the armies of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together. When Saul and all Israel heard these words of the Philistines, they were dismayed and greatly afraid. Have you ever seen something that looked like it was a little bit bigger than you could handle? You got scared. You was looking at the big picture of it. Now David was the son of that Ephesiite of Bethlehem, Judea, whose name was Jesse, and he had 8 sons. And the man went among men for an old man in the days of Saul. And the 3 eldest sons of Jesse went and followed Saul to the battle. And the names of his 3 sons that went to battle were Eliab, the firstborn. And you all know I can't pronounce these names good, so call them whatever you want to call them. It's 3 sons Jesse. Next, and anyways, it gives their name. And David was the youngest, and the 3 eldest followed Saul. So the 3 older sons went to battle with Saul, not to battle Saul, but was in his army. But David went and returned from Saul to feed his father's sheep at Bethlehem. And the Philistine drew near morning and evening and presented himself 40 days. So every morning and evening for 40 days he came out and challenged them. And Jesse said unto David, his son, take now for thine brethren of this parched corn and these 10 loaves, and run to the camp to thy brethren, and carry thee 10 cheeses into the captain of their 1,000, and look how thy brethren fare, and take thy pledge. Now Saul and they and all the men of Israel were in the valley of Elah fighting with the Philistines. And David rose up early in the morning and left the sheep with a keeper, and took and went, and Jesse had went as Jesse had commanded him. And he came to the trench as the host was going forth to the fight, and shouted for the battle. Do you notice that David did exactly what his dad had told him to? He had a job. He played the harp for Saul. And even in the midst of this job, he had responsibilities. And he took responsibility because he got somebody else to take care of them sheep while he went down there and did what his dad told him to. How would that work out nowadays, though? Why do I have to go? A lot of kids, that's how it would go. You say, I need you to take this bread down there to your brother, see how they're faring. A lot of them be like, well, can't you get somebody else to do it? Tell me I'm wrong. Hello, Justice Jane. Hello, Borrowed Angel. I've been praying for you, honey. But we're talking about struggles, making mistakes. When David goes down here, he finds them in the trenches. Okay. He finds them in the trenches. Okay. They're hunkered down. 40 days. Goliaths come out. Get a man to come and fight me. If he wins, we'll serve you all. If I win, you serve me. He was defying Israel. And I love what that is. Let me find it here. When he finds out, when he hears what they said. Okay. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, and taketh away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living God? Love that. And the people answered him after this manner, saying, so shall it be done to the man that killeth him. And Eliab, his elder brother, heard when he spake unto the men, and Eliab's anger was kindled against David. And he said, why comest thou down hither? And with whom hast thou left those few? Notice how he tries to belittle him. Those few sheep in the wilderness. I know thy pride and thy naughtiness of thine heart, for thou art come down that thou mightest see the battle. And saying, why ain't you taking care of them few sheep you've got? Well, you come down here pretty much being nosy for. That's what he's saying. So, I mean, the devil sent somebody in to try to deter David right off the bat. And guess what he used? He used his own brother, his family. How many times have we been wanting to do good and it be our own family that tries to discourage us, tries to tell us we can't do it? Have you been there? And David said, "What have I now done?" He's like, "What have I done this time? Is there not a cause?" And he turned from him towards another and spake after the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner. And when the words were heard, so he asked again, and they told him, what somebody would get if they killed Goliath. And when the words were heard, which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. And David said to Saul, "Let no man's heart fail him because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine." You see, back then, if you went and circumcised, it was pretty much a given that you really didn't know the Lord, because all males that serve the Lord were supposed, were in families that served the Lord. When they were born, they were supposed to have been circumcised. Well, everybody else had been seeing this big picture, how big Goliath was, what armor he had on. But David said what was important. He was an uncircumcised Philistine, and David knew that he had something on his side that Goliath didn't have. He had God on his side, and he knew that as long as he had God on his side, he wouldn't fail. And Saul said to David, "Thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and a man, and he a man of war from his youth." Now, when I was looking up a while back, when I was looking up about how old David would have been, about 17 years old here, and Saul's saying, "You can't fight him. You're too young. He's been in battle since he was your age, and you're just a youth." So that's twice. That was twice. The devil sent in something. Yes, he does become king, but right now he's a shepherd boy. But that's twice that the devil's trying to say you can't do it. First, he used his brother, trying to tell him he's being prideful. He's just coming down there to be nosy. Go take care of those few sheep. And now Saul, the king at that time, is saying, you're just a youth. He's been in battle since his youth. Now listen what David says. And David said unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep. And there came a lion and a bear and took out of the flock. And I went out after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote him. Smote means killed. And slew him. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he had defied the armies of the living God. David said, moreover, the Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of the Philistine. And Saul said unto David, Go and the Lord be with thee. You know what else David had? He had a testimony. He's like a lion and a bear. They came to right here. He said there was a lion and a bear, and they came to take a lamb out of the flock. And when they did, I went after them. And when he rose up against me, I grabbed him by his beard and smote him. And killed him. That's what he's saying. He had testimony. God helped me do that. He'll help me with this. So he knew that the same Lord that delivered him from the lion and delivered him from the bear would also deliver him from this. But I'll tell you something else that kind of, when you get to seeing how big Saul was, how big David was, and how big Goliath was, do you know who would have been, as far as stature, more equal to a size of Goliath? Saul. He was a tall man. David was a short man. Goliath was like 9 foot. Some people say, or some scholars say 9 foot and a half, 6 inches. So really, whose place would it have been really back then if he's to fought Goliath? Seems like it would have been Saul. It was his army. It was his people that Goliath was rising up against. So when you look at that and you see where David says, and David said unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep. Well, the sheep kind of being like the Israelites to Saul. And there came a lion and a bear and took a lamb out of the flock. Well, what was Goliath trying to do? Give me a man. If I win, you all serve me. If he wins, we'll serve you. He was trying to take the lamb out of the flock. And I went out after him and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. Right now, they're just listening to what Goliath has to say. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote him and slew him. David had that testimony. He knew God did it once, he'll do it again. He had faith. Now, it says, and Saul armed David with his armor, and he put a helmet of brass upon his head. Also, he armed him with a coat of mail. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, for he had not proved it. And David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them. And David put them off of him. He wasn't taking weapons that he didn't know nothing about. Nothing that he didn't know could work for him. He was taking the one weapon that he knew would work, and that was the Lord. He's like, I don't need your helmets. I don't need your sword. Don't need your shields. Don't need that breastplate. I don't know nothing about those things. I ain't tested them. I don't know that they work, but I know the Lord does. Let me see here. Where was I? Okay. And he took his staff in his hand and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook, and put them in a shepherd's bag which he had, even in the scrip and his sling. And his sling was in his hands, and he drew near to the Philistine. And the Philistine came on and drew near unto David, and the man that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth, and ruddy, and a fair countenance. In other words, he just didn't think he had it up to him. He looked at him and saw a small man. He didn't think he measured up to him. This would be a sure win. And the Philistine said unto David, Am I a dog that thou comest to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. And the Philistines said to David, Come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air and to the beasts of the field. And then David said to the Philistine, Thou comest to me with a sword and with a spear and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. This day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hands, and I will smite thee and take thine head from thee, and I will give the carcass of the host of the Philistine this day into the fowls of the air and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. And all this assembly shall know that the Lord saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands. And it came to pass, when the Philistine arose and came and drew nigh to meet David, that David hastened and ran towards the army to meet the Philistine. And David put his hand in his bag and took thence a stone and sling it, and smote the Philistine in his forehead, that the stone sunk into his forehead, and he fell upon the face of the earth. So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and with a stone, and smote the Philistine, and slew him, but there was no sword in the hand of David. He didn't bring a sword. Therefore David ran and stood upon the Philistine and took his sword. I love this. Took his sword and drew it out of the sheath thereof, and slew him, and cut off his head therewith. And when the Philistines saw their champion was dead, they fled. David didn't bring a sword. That Philistine did. I've said this before, but sometimes it is the very thing that the devil wants to destroy you with that the Lord will take and use to deliver you with. Was David a perfect man? He made mistakes. I'm just telling you. Right here, he done an A1 job. But now he went through a little ratchet period too. He ends up becoming king. He ends up getting a wife, Saul's daughter, matter of fact. And he becomes friends with Jonathan. Saul wants to kill him. And then coincidentally, Saul falls on his own sword and dies. But then David, he goes through him a ratchety period. Sure did. He made mistakes. He went through a ratchety period too, even though God had delivered him. God had done a lot for him. He went through a ratchety period. Won't know what he done. Well, you see, there was a war going on. And David started having an affair with a married woman. Her name was it Bathsheba? Yeah. Anyways, they didn't want her husband to find out. I'm giving it to you in country girl terms. But they didn't want her husband to find out, so he brought the husband back. Well, when the husband went to sleep with her, they figured out they needed another plan. So David sent that husband to the front line to be killed in war. It took David a little bit to get back. Let me tell you, sometimes when you get a lesson from God, it's one you don't ever forget. Because she, like I said, she became pregnant. And when that child was born, it was sick. It was dying. David prayed. He fasted and he prayed. And then when the child passed away, the Bible says he got up, put his clothes on, got himself together. And one of the servants even came to him and said, in country girl terms, I don't know how you're doing this. You've been praying for your son. And he said, I can't bring my son back, but I can go where he is. So yeah, David, he went through a rough patch too. But I love in this part where he didn't need no sword. He didn't need no armor. Those were weapons he wasn't familiar with. The only weapon that he had was the Lord, and he knew that was enough. He knew it was enough. He didn't doubt it. A lot of people ask, why did he take 5 stones? Well, maybe Goliath had 5 brothers, or 4 more brothers. Or maybe that was the amount of times, the most, that he'd ever had to use a stone without missing. But regardless of what it is, he knew good and well that he was going to win that battle. God made him for a purpose. He made you for one. Now, a lot of times when I sit down here today, I guess I was full of complaints. Sometimes when you ask people, are you complaining more than you're praying? It's just speaking for myself. It's because you've realized you've done something. You have been complaining more than you should. But I know the same weapon that got me through 2005 when I lost my kids, got me in through 2014 when I lost my mom. It got me through 2015 when I lost my sister, and 2016 when I lost my dad. It got me through, and you all were right there to witness it. Got me back here in March. That same weapon will get me through this too. Yes, it's faith, prayer. I know God's able. He didn't stop doing miracles in the Old Testament. He didn't stop doing miracles when he was walking with the disciples. He does miracles every day. Sometimes we just get used to them, if you want me to be honest with you. Are you walking around? Did you wake up this morning? You got a lot to be thankful for. Now I know I've grabbed everything I've touched today. Everything I touched, it's broke. Started my day off, I thought I'd go live on the computer, do it from YouTube instead of StreamYards. I couldn't tell hide nor hair what I was doing. It was a useless live. I wasn't using the weapon I was used to. On the way to the check on my food after I got off my live, my foot was wrapped up in my yarn and I pulled 2 rolls plumb out of it. Had to redo those. I sat down here at the beginning of this live, and what I was going to do was show against these pictures that I was going to be working on that I done at a wedding. And all Lightroom and Photoshop just froze right up. Old girl I couldn't get a mouse to scroll on the screen. And I'll tell you why. Because I let the devil get into my head. I did. I went several ways around it to try to keep from even saying this, but I'm going to put it right out there because Satan, you are a loser. You're a liar and the truth ain't in you. I let the devil get in my head because I thought I was giving people impressions that I was a preacher. No, I'm not. But as sure as that got to fester up there, doubt started hitting in. Questions started rolling in my mind. Just like the serpent did back in Genesis when he asked Eve a question to get her to doubt what she already know. He done that to me too. Not wanting me to do this channel. Not wanting me to read my Bible with you all. And I'd listen to him. I'd let him get right in my head, speaking all kinds of untruth when I know good and well that that's what was going on. I know through God, I can do all things. I don't think what's going on this channel is a bad thing. I think it's God called. And I'm not going to quit. I will go to war with the devil before I let him win. You know why? Because I've got kids I don't want to see die and go to hell. I don't want to see your kids die and go to hell. So if speaking the truth can help that, then I'm going to be right here doing it. Because like I said in another live, don't even know when I said it. It's been one day this week. I've just been going live crazy this week. But you may be the only time a lost person hears about the Lord. Let's don't pass those opportunities up. See what all I've missed. Yeah, flies. Devil worked hard on me today. Oh, hello, lean on me. Oh, lean on me. I'll be praying for you, honey. Yeah. David had faith. He had faith. A lot of times, just like those Israelites, that was when you got to think they were hunkered down in a ditch. So imagine how much taller Goliath looked to them. And I know I've read this before, but the situation looked bigger than what it was. And it said they were afraid. They were scared. David saw the situation for exactly what an uncircumcised Philistine. Don't that just make you want to go around saying you uncircumcised? I'm sorry. But he did. That's what he saw it for. He saw not a 9-foot man with all this armor on that weighed more than David did it himself. And what he saw. He saw that he wasn't a man of God because he was an uncircumcised Philistine. He didn't have to look at the big picture. He looked at the situation for exactly what it was, and that is what I declare I'm doing right now. I will rebuke the devil in the name of Jesus Christ. I am seeing the situation for what it is, and it ain't nothing but the devil trying to quit me from doing what the Lord wants me to do. Not today, Satan. Sometimes we just got to call it what it is. Your granny would say that when you misbehave. Yeah, you'll feel better, lean on me. I claim that in the name of Jesus Christ. She would look at us straight in the eye and say it. I thank God we have praying grannies. I truly believe that my mama's prayers saved my life. You think about it. When we were growing up, for some of us, church wasn't an option. I can't remember the question. Are you going to church with me this morning? Are you going to church with me tonight? Nope, don't remember that. My mama would say, hey, you need to start getting ready. Gotta get ready for church. We are letting electronics raise our kids. And then we wonder why they're so easy offended. Would you take your child and drop it off at a stranger's house and leave it there for a week or two? Oh, thank you, lean on me. I wouldn't. But yet sometimes when we have something to do, we'll stick an electronic with them. Let them get right on that. It's a babysitting. Truth's family, the world's on fire. We know it's the truth. How many of your kids, how many of your grandkids turn that internet off for about 2 hours, then that it'll look like somebody done went and got possessed. We live 6 miles back in the holler, and let me show you what I see one time. Now I'll show you what. I said 6. Actually, it's a total of 10 if you take it from the main road and then you're cutting into the holler. It's a long ways, okay? Needless to say, one of these little suckers is not going to work up in here. But that internet, It got tore up. And I want you to know that my son was doing this right here. Like the higher he can get it, the more signal he can get. Like it was going to do something for him back here in this holler. Finally, they did put in years ago across the hill, they put in a Verizon type tower that you can get one bar on. But now he'll tell you if you're up in a tree trying to get away from a bear, sometimes you got to lean towards that bear just to get a bar. Y'all, have you ever heard the story about the little boy that... Just a second. Oh. Sorry. Little boy, that little teen boy that got down the chimney and they didn't find him for 21 days and he was stuck. Oh no, I hadn't heard nothing about nothing like that. It makes me wonder about something. I hadn't heard about that, Lena May. That's pitiful. I tell you what, in that case, Lena May, I just don't even know anymore. Just don't know. Somebody wants to come up, more than welcome. I don't know if y'all saw, but it did make me a second channel for crocheting and like crafts. If you're into that kind of thing, go sub to it. I think I named it Crystal Crochets. If I was organized and right proper, I'd done had the link for you, but I don't. Oh, thank you, Flies. I'm working on this right now. I showed Flies this last night. Just a second. I made that and it's went through quite a few of the little babies in our family. But what I'm wanting to do with that channel is, well, me and Flies was talking last night. We was talking about things that we make. And I was telling her, a lot of times I'll get one of them vacuum bags after I get something made. Put me a dryer sheet in it and vacuum it down, and that's about the last I see of it. But on this channel, I'm thinking about when I, making things and then have a drawing and give it away. Because I try to pray during everything that I make. I kind of, I don't know, Kind of think that'd be something to do. I know. I've got a whole new theory now about Summer's case. It's not really what I had thought before. I need to get started on this Christmas blanket. It's going to become a tradition for me. Oh. Well, on that channel, we could all get together and chit chat and crochet, teach each other some things. Cause I want to tell you, I'm basic. Basic as it comes. But I love to do it. I feel so much better, though, than I did. Man, old devil had me all. You can't miss church, people. We're supposed to be getting fed. And when you miss church, you just give the devil room. Man, I had a crocheting needle here. Whatever did I do with this? There it is. But I thought maybe that channel would be, we could learn from each other. Who knows? Maybe Flies will get brave enough to come up and show us, because now she's real good. Ain't you, girl? Maybe you can give us some lessons. I tried to pre-record my first video day. I don't think you're better at that. I'm better at just hitting live and coming on and talking to y'all, because let's just say some of these are going to be shorts. I thought, where should I start? Well, I guess with Slipknot. What's the lean on me? Over there, we can do that. Let me see if I can find this other end. Well, I know. Let me get the one that I did that little bitty video with, and I'll show you what it was like. Behind the scenes right here. Let me see. Behind the scenes, if I can find it. Well, I'll use this one to show you. Show you how I did right here. One's gonna laugh at me. Don't laugh too hard, okay? But now I was thinking, well, where do I start? I guess I need to start with Slipknot. That's where I need to start at. So, well, then it occurred to me that I don't never do nothing the proper way. No, not even when it comes to untangling an old piece of black string, evidently. Here we go. It's ready. This is how my video went. There's many ways to make a Slipknot. This is how I make mine. I wrap it around my finger once, twice, pull the back one over the front one. Sorry, I'm backwards. What did I do with that? Bless Pat. There it is. Okay. Let's do this again. Show you how my video went. This is how you make a slip knot. Finger. And you wrap it around. See, I'm backwards a little way. You wrap it around. Then you pull that back one over the front one. Pull that one over that one. And see? Then put your loop in there. There's your slip knot. And that's how, flies, is that how you hold yours? You didn't get notified. I ain't even uploaded that one. It was a whole minute and 30 seconds. Yes, it is. But now you go up and around. See, everybody goes up and around and then pulls it through. And that's where I'm a little different myself. That's why I think a bunch of us girls get together. They can learn my way and then they can learn the right way. But now this is how I do my chains. See, I just pull it straight through. 2, 3, 4, 5. And I hold mine like a pencil. Flies, are you laughing at me? Because now my mama used to hold hers like this. And I don't know how she did that. There ain't no way I'd get it done. But that's how my first video went. Today I'm going to be showing y'all how to make a slip knot. Take the tail of your yarn, wrap it around, then wrap it around again. Pull the back one over the front one, then pull this one back over that, and then we're going to stick our hook right in the middle of there. That's a slip knot. End of video. I need a little work, I know. Well, I guess some people might look for a 30-second video on how to make a slip knot. I don't know. You know what's going to happen with that channel. I'll get all befuzzled and I'll be like, just a second, I'm going to have to pray. What a mess. Not live, sorry, just a reg one. What I miss? What's reg? Yep, double crochet into the same stitch. Now, like with this, I'll be straight up with y'all. Flies knows this. I can't read a pattern. Like to get these little patterns right here. This is what I do. Let me see her. Where are you? Yeah, here it is. Okay. Let me finish this and I'll show you what I do. Then I go to the next space. See? And then I double crochet 3 into that one. This is the easiest pattern there is. That's the reason I do it a lot. Then now I'm at a corner. See right here. And I'll double crochet 3. This is the only time it changes up, so you can pay plenty attention. 1. Well, bless me, Lord, if I ain't taking this again. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Then I chain 2. 1, 2. That's a whole. That's every bit of it right there. That's the big. That's the big change. And then you go right back into the same one and chain 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Then skip this cluster and go into these. Flies, is this a shell, or is that what they call this? Like I said, I can't read no pattern. Maybe we can get on that other channel, get, something small going. Flies might be able to convince her to come right on panel and help teach us. Then I skip that and go into the next one. That's all I do. Granny square stitch. Yeah. This one is the rectangle, but ain't square. And I tell you why I did this one like this. Because I was making square. But for a semi-truck, it just didn't work out too well. Because, they're equal on all sides. But this one will be longer than it is wide. And I love to do corner to corner ones. Absolutely love those. But then, since I'm going to be, I said I'm going to be transparent. Big reason I do the ones like that. It's because if I won't quit, it's done. I might start out with a blanket, like for a big Afghan. And if I get real tired of it, it suddenly became a baby blanket. Yeah, they do. Corner to corner goes real fast. Do you care, Flies, to get the link to that other one? Or have you already drafted it? To that Crystal Crochets? Yeah, right there, honey. Flies is on it. If y'all want to be part of that debacle, go right over and sub. What do you mean you're lost? See, on that channel, we could do panels and do crafts. It don't have to be all crocheting stuff. Do y'all want to see my lamps I made? Put a one in chat if you want to see my lamps I made. I was real proud of them. Even made me some tables. I'm going to show you. I'm going to take these with me to show you, though. Let me see how I can flip this. Well, this I made. Bear with me. I made that out of some picture frames that, well, they rode and I didn't have nothing else to do with them. And I made this. See all my baby stuff back here in this? And show you what, I keep wanting to put it the correct way. I show you my lamps. Where are my lamps made? Oh yeah, there's some. This is one of them Dollar Tree waste baskets or little baskets that you get. And then this is one of them big candle holders. And I took E6000 and put 2 of the sconces together. And I made it. I'll show you this table over here. Well, I guess I could show you something besides my nose hose. And I made this out of 2 garbage cans and an old picture frame. Or picture. The glass out of the picture frame. It's got a shadow on it, but see? Oh, I didn't show you this. I made this too. Got my hand right over the camera. It's a candle holder, but now it's become a catch-all. Made that out of oak picture frames. See? Okay. What have I missed? Make a keychain with paracord. Midnight said, I am too. We got 2 people lost. Okay, Lean on Me says, I tried once. It didn't work. I'm lost. We got 3 people lost. Oh, Lean on Me said something was pretty. I think she might have been talking about that stuff I made. I tell you, best way to learn to crochet, just sit down and do it. Now, I use these because where I had surgery on my hands, it's a lot easier to hold, or it is for me. Yeah, a light colored yarn is real helpful to start with. See, girls, we could do this, and then we have the blankets. I've got all kinds of blankets. It does. The chain is the hardest part. It's the most tedious part of it. I think that's another reason I like the corner to corner, because it don't take too long. Don't take too long to have enough to hold on to, in my opinion. You don't have to have a whole kit. Get your crocheting needle that you comfortable with, and get you a thing of yarn. That's what you do. Now I do knit, but as good as that gets is a washcloth and a hand towel. But now I would recommend this. Start out with something small That way, when you finish it, you've got that accomplishment feeling. I need to finish this bad, to be honest with you. Would you agree? Would you agree, Sister Flies? Start out with something small, maybe a baby blanket. Those lamps. Do you know how much money I got in them? Not counting the E6000. I've got $4. But now my tables, I'm gonna have to do away with them. These babies are getting big enough to start crawling around. And that's a bruise waiting to happen. Yeah, I sure do feel a lot better now. Thank you for joining me. If nobody wants to come up, I guess I'm going to get off here. I need to get my house clean. I cooked supper and everything else has turned into a wreck now. You need direction. If you have the want to, you can do it, honey. I'm just going to. My biggest problem is I lose interest real quick. No, that ain't even the truth. I do lose interest, but that ain't my biggest problem. My biggest problem right now is having the time to do it. So maybe my minute and 30-second video is maybe they might actually get uploaded since it just takes that long. Lean on me, can you make a chain? The end of the tool. Are you talking about this? I just knew like basic stuff. Now like this hook, see what it is. This is a 5mm hook and it's an H. And I use it probably more than any. Are you talking about this? I made that too. I repurposed it. Thank you. I had a full-size mirror and I cracked it, so I decided to make something out of it instead of just throwing it away. I'm not a hoarder. Not at all. Unless it has sentimental value to me. And in that case, that did. That was my sister's. So when it got broke, I got upset. And then I thought, what can I do? Well, I'll turn it into something different. Mirror with mason jars hanging from it. But y'all, I'm going to have to get my house straightened back up after supper. It seems like it's got a wreck. I love you all. And like I said, maybe we can have a good old time over there. Just not nothing real big. We'll consider it as a three-way call. Love crafties. I love crafting. I do. I used to do it all the time. If something broke, I was making something out of it. But I guess I'm going to get off here, y'all. I love y'all. Thank you for hanging with me. I know I've been a roller coaster. I've been a whole big mess. But y'all stuck with me and I appreciate it. And who knows, maybe I'm probably do it on the other channel, but may do a video editing photos if it works out that way. That's what this one was going to be, okay? Because I had a whole mess of photos that needed edited that I need to get out, and Photoshop just froze plumb up. Yep, peace, love, blessings, prayers to everyone. Takes zero effort to be a good human being. Let's try to smile a little more. I know I need to today because I've been a mess. Yeah, I love y'all.